I'm Will Studd and welcome to Cheese Slices. On this programme we're going to be looking at goat's milk cheeses. They've been around for the past 5,000 years and the story of how they became a regional French favourite is fascinating. A combination of history, tradition and of course French passion. The finest goat cheese in France is found in the region of Poitou, which lies near the Loire River in the southwest of the country. This area is part of what is known as the Garden of France, and it's famous for its rich cultural history. Along with the Romanesque castles and Renaissance chateaux, there's a delicious range of goat cheese, or chèvre as it's known in French. The history of France and its unique cheeses might have been very different if not for a battle that occurred near the town of Poitiers almost 1,400 years ago. In a bid to conquer Europe, the governor of Spain, Abderrahman, assembled a great Saracen army and led it across the Pyrenees. It's hard to believe. This beautiful, peaceful valley was once the scene of a famous battle. In 732, the Saracens had invaded France, and they were defeated here by Charles Martel and his army. That battle was to change the course of European history, but it also was to change the course of European cheesemaking. This historic defeat marked the end of centuries of incursions across the Pyrenees from Spain that was to unite the young nation of France under Charles's grandson, King Charlemagne. These days, we should be grateful to the invaders, for they left behind not only their goats, but centuries of cheese-making experience. Originally home to the Poitou breed of goat, there are now two main breeds. The delicate Alpine, with short brown hair, which was introduced to the region in the 1920s, and the most popular breed, the tough and adaptable Saanen, which is recognisable by its thick white coat. The reason this area enjoys its reputation for fine goat's cheese is because of a combination of history, the local climate, and these unique goat breeds. The process of making goat's cheese is best described as gentle. Milk is collected early morning and late afternoon. To avoid unpleasant bucky flavours, good quality fresh milk is essential. At the dairy, it's allowed to rest overnight before starters are added, and again it's rested for 10 to 12 hours. The soft, floppy white curds are then carefully ladled by hand into special pyramid-shaped moulds, which have small holes in the side to allow the liquid whey to slowly drain off. A gentle process, which unlike pasteurisation, ensures that most of the natural flora and enzymes in the milk are retained in the curd.
Bonjour. This is a very skilled operation. What this lovely lady is doing here is making sure that every cheese is topped up with just the right amount of curd. This is Poligny Saint-Pierre, the pyramid-shaped cheeses, and this process just ensures every cheese is around the same weight, around 180 grams.
The goat cheeses are then placed in a cool and well-ventilated room to slowly mature.
These curds have been draining for the last 48 hours, and now they've been turned out and a little cheese is born.
At this stage in their life, they weigh about 300 grams. But by the time they're matured and leave this place, they'll only weigh 250 grams. When ready to eat, the rind is dry with a natural bluish mould, whilst the chalky white texture inside is soft and slightly crumbly. Utterly delicious. Also called the pyramid or Eiffel Tower cheese, Coligny Saint-Pierre is made in the shape of a slender pyramid. Locals claim this distinctive shape is modelled on the old church belfry in the town of Coligny, but personally, well, I'm not so sure. In this part of France, the best cheeses are made between Easter and November. And here's one of the reasons why. This stuff. This is fresh ryegrass, clover, and lots of lovely herbage. And of course, that variety goes into the milk and produces some of the most fantastic cheeses. Corn kernels are added to the feed. But these goats like to take matters into their own hands whenever they get the chance. They supplement their diets by chewing on the bark of trees, whose long root systems provide nutrients from deep underground. There's nothing like a nuzzle from an affectionate goat to appreciate that they are friendly and inquisitive creatures. But if you get too close, you'll soon find they want to nibble on almost anything. The traditional goat's cheeses of this region vary in shape according to the area they first originated. There are 6 that are proudly protected under the French system of appellation control, known as AOC. AOC, or Appellation d'Origine Contrôlée, is a complex system designed to protect the traditions and quality of French cheeses. It ensures control of grazing, animal breeds, how and when cheese is made, and even how it is stored. This system gives the customer confidence and protects France's cheesemakers at the same time. The best are made from raw milk. These include 3 soft charcoal-covered cheeses, Sainte Maure de Touraine, Valençay, and Celle-Souchère, and 3 slightly drier types matured using geotrichum mould, which gives the rind a knobbly, wrinkled appearance. Coligny Saint-Pierre, Chabichou de Poitou, and from the eastern part of the region, the tiny Crottin de Chavignol. Every 2 years on the first weekend of June, the village of Sainte Maure de Touraine is host to the largest goat cheese fair in the world. The sloping cobbled streets are crowded with visitors, and food stalls line the pavements, loaded with a marvellous variety of goat's cheese and other specialties from all over the region. Cheese fairs like this one are invaluable to cheesemakers, and they provide a good opportunity to explain new production trends and farming methods. They also raise public awareness on specialist cheese, and of course for a chance to eat and drink, 2 of France's most celebrated pastimes. With so many varieties of goat cheese to choose from, there's no end to the delicious recipes you can create. One of my favourite combinations is Sainte Maure cheese and roasted red peppers on a pizza base. I make a very simple sourdough using flour, water and dried yeast. The important thing about making this dough is to let it rise twice. I let it stand for a couple of hours or even longer in a warm place, then prick it with a knife before leaving it to rest again. After it's been rolled, I brush it with extra virgin olive oil. Add roasted red pepper slices, fresh Sainte Maure goat cheese, olives, and
finally freshly ground black pepper. Then pop it into a really hot oven for 10 minutes or so until it's nicely brown. The final pizza is sensational. Another easy recipe is grilled goat cheese on walnut bread, or more simply, goat cheese on toast. Slice up some fresh walnut loaf, cover with your choice of goat cheese, and lay these on an oven tray. Then place the tray under the grill for several minutes. To accompany my cheese on toast, I make a grated raw beetroot salad coated with extra virgin olive oil and cider vinegar. Beetroot salad cuts through the richness of this beautiful cheese and looks stunning on the plate. One of the highlights of this fair is the cheese judging, where more than 500 cheeses are entered and judges are drawn from all over Europe. Now, just how do you pick a great goat's cheese? The chief judge, Henri Bacard, explains.
In terms of appearance, we want the shape to be perfect, with sharp points for the pyramids and a truncated log shape for the Sainte Maure de Touraine. The rind must be regular in shape with the bacteria settled in nicely. Next, we are going to smell it. It must have the distinctive goat's cheese aroma. Pleasant, not aggressive. And all that's left to do now is to test it. We'll cut it and we'll appreciate the texture of the cheese, which must be supple, balanced, with a solid rind, very pleasant to the nose. The only thing left to do is to savor it. It's a question of time. It should linger in the mouth with the warmth. A very nice cheese.
The judging will take several hours and is completed in stages as the finalists are carefully drawn. The atmosphere becomes more tense and anticipation builds as to who will win an award. The final winners are picked by a super jury that represents the most experienced judges of goat cheese in France. There are many wonderful stories behind the origin and shape of these cheeses. One includes Napoleon cutting the top off the Pyramid of Valence after his defeat in Egypt. Another involves a curious debate on whether the name crottin refers to the shape of a lamp or sheep dung. All very confusing.
Hey, Pascal, expliquez-moi l'histoire de Valençay, s'il vous plaît.
The Valençay is one of 5 AOC cheeses of the central region of France. If France is one big cheese platter, the central region is a goat's cheese platter. There are 5 AOC cheeses: Crottin de Chavignol, the Valençay, Sainte Maure de Touraine, Celles-sur-Cher, and Pouligny-Saint-Pierre. And Valençay is in the Indre region, where Prince Talleyrand came from. The pyramid-shaped cheese, which was made in Indre, was this one, in the same shape as the Pouligny-Saint-Pierre. This one here. When Napoleon returned from his Egyptian campaign, he became angry when the cheese came to the table and in one fell swoop sliced off the top of the pyramid.
Voila. A long time ago, all these cheeses were made in different shapes in different parts of this particular region, and they probably didn't have names. But once they became exported around the world and around France, they needed names. And so people just took up the names of the local villages, and that's how they get their names. So we have Celles-sous-Cher, we have Poligny-Saint-Pierre, which is another village, we have Sainte Maure de Touraine, which is another village. So they're just really village names for the shapes of the cheeses. The most well-known traditional AOC cheese of the region is Sainte Maure de Touraine. This log-shaped cheese is slightly cone-shaped at one end, and because of its length, it's very fragile. Once, farmers used to put a hollow straw or bulrush down the centre of the cheese to stop it from breaking. Pull it out before cutting the cheese, and you'll find tiny numerals imprinted in the straw, which identify the producer and the day of production. The winners are announced late in the afternoon at a grand ceremony conducted by the Grand Master of the Commanderie de Fromagent de Sainte Maure de Touraine.
Eh bien, mesdames, messieurs, la confrérie des chevaliers du Brie-de-Melun, composée de 450 membres à l'heure actuelle.
Anyone watching this might think that these people are mad, but they're not. This is the annual intronisation ceremony at the Sainte Maure de Touraine Fair. And the people up there are welcoming new members to their confrérie. It's a great honour, sort of a knighthood. Membership is honorary and taken very seriously by participants who dress in flowing robes and square hats.
Je vous fais chevalier de la commanderie des fromages de Sainte Maure de Touraine et je vous demande d'être un ambassadeur de notre fromage.
These fellowships from across France aim to promote all traditional French cheeses, whatever their origins or characteristics. Behind me is the Soignon goat cheese factory, the largest producer of goat cheese in the world. They process over 300,000 litres of milk a day here, or 700 million a year. Tradition does not stand still when it comes to cheese, and inevitably, new cheeses evolve from old ideas. This is graphically illustrated by the most popular goat cheese in France today, Sainte Maure. Similar only in shape to the original Sainte Maure de Touraine, this cheese is only made from pasteurised milk using a mechanised process. There is no supporting straw through the middle of the cheese, and instead of being matured with a combination of charcoal and geotrichum mould, this cheese is ripened with a more reliable white mould known as Penicillium candidum. The cooperative of Uriel represents over 4,000 goat farmers, which markets its products under the brand of Soignon. Soignon make a large range of goat's cheeses, many of which are exported around the globe. But despite the size, the emphasis here is still on tradition.
So the French market, total French size market for goat cheese is 60,000 tons a year. And only this factory, Soignon, is producing 12,000 tons a year. So we are a big player on the market. But at the same time, we absolutely want to keep the tradition and to keep a level of quality which guarantees to the consumer the best cheese.
These big bags are receiving milk which has been pre-prepared outside. It's been pasteurised, starter's been added and rennet's been added. It comes into these big bags, 5,000 litres, and sits here for the next 10 hours draining. And at the end of the process, there'll be 1,000 kilos of cheese, fresh curd.
So I would say that people working in the factories are all passionate, and they treat the cheese as if they will eat that one tonight or with friends. So that's why we try to guarantee the best quality, and I would say that each batch in our factories are controlled before leaving, before delivering. So it guarantees a level of quality which is the highest.
Once the curd's been weighed, just the right amount of salt is added to it, and then the vat is turned into this big mixing machine where it's all mixed up together just to get the right flavour for the curd.
Some of the group's smaller dairies still make cheese the traditional way, but their biggest dairy has embraced modern production methods to meet the huge demand for the popular Sainte Maure cheese.
This is a maturation room where the cheeses come to grow their white mould. They spend 9 days in here. This humidifier here pumps moisture into the air, and on the outside of the cheeses, this white mould known as Penicillium cadidum grows. The smell as the mould grows is absolutely fantastic, just like apples.
The use of Penicillium candidum mould has been crucial to its success. This mould means the cheese can be wrapped in a breathing paper where it will continue to ripen, unlike the traditional charcoal cheese, which cannot be wrapped without using a special cave environment. This development has proved to be a huge advantage in a world dominated by supermarkets.
You can see maybe in a supermarket in France many items which you will not find at export because the taste is not the same. So to start from the fresh goat cheese, flavored with garlic and herbs, for example, and step by step to go to the white mold one and then to the AOC. So it's a long way to reach knowledge in the cheese, but it's very nice to get that knowledge because you feel real something. When you eat a piece of cheese, you can feel the farmers, the goats, you can feel all people working in the company who wants to make the goat cheese awareness becoming bigger and bigger throughout the world.
There are few pleasures that rival the lingering taste of a great goat's cheese. And in France, there's a huge variety to choose from. The very best French goat's cheeses are those endorsed by the AOC, which come from specific regions and are made using traditional methods. 1400 years ago, the Saracens might not have won the battle, but judging by the popularity of goat's cheese, they left a legacy that will be enjoyed for a very long time.